Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kadash, double lawrence apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to you, Akim and Akwad across the four winds. To you, I salute the hopeful elect. This is the brother's desire, one back to another lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Yeah, what I want to touch on briefly, because I was just meditating to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Because oftentimes, we tend to look at other people and judge other people. Sometimes, you know what I mean. But hey, everything starts within ourselves. The scripture say you gotta take a speck with your own eye first, and then you see more clearly. Take the mote of your own eyes, and sometimes, you know, you know, we be doing shit. Sometimes in this flesh, because we always going off from time to time, and then we ignore the fact, you know what I mean? But it's there. All right. And sometimes we show the same term I'm gonna get in self-restraint. We don't have no self-restraint in certain things what we do. But sometimes, we look at other situations and we don't look at ourselves. And it's all about examining yourself in every day in this ministry. All right. It's all about examining yourself. The scripture says a little leaven, leaven it the whole lump. All right. You gotta identify your own level, because sometimes you might think, you're doing something right, and might even you might doing something fucked up, but you got sometimes you try to ignore it. You know what I mean? And then this time we living in, you gotta have self restraint, because like I say, it's a constant battle against the spirit, against the flesh. All right, it's a constant battle. And sometimes, we do shit. You know what I mean? You don't realize we don't have no self restraint. Continue doing the same shit over and over. All right, now let's go into this word self restraint. Get a couple of scriptures, Lord, and let's be edifying. All right, because like I say, a lot of people around here, we see they're trying to please their flesh and all that, but you know what I mean? But we got to look at our own self also. It says, restraint, exercise over one's own impulses, emotion, or desires, self-control. You see that? Exercise over one's impulses, emotions, or desires. All right? Then desires, that's lust and all kind of shit. All right? Trying to please this flesh. All right? You see that? Okay. All right. It says the synonyms, antonyms: discipline, discretion, reserve, restraint, self-command, self-control. All right. Having self-restraint is important in this ministry also. All right. And that's what the scripture say also. Let's get this other scripture. All right. It says, Sirach 18:30. Go not after thy lust, but refrain thyself from thine appetites. Don't go after your love, your desires, or in this flesh. All right. Because this flesh desire a lot of shit. All right. You got to put those shit dead. You got to modify your members. All right. There's a lot of shit, especially in this time. We see our people, they don't have no self-restraint. They just want to please their flesh. Alistair Crowley, do as thou wilt. All right. Sometimes we got to examine ourselves, because sometimes we do the same shit. You know what I mean? Just want to please your flesh. And you continuously doing, you're gonna have a lack of self-control, and that's gonna damage you up. All right. Let's get out of scripture. This is Proverbs 25:28. It says, he that had no rule of his own spirit is like city that is broken down and without walls. All right. Guys, if you don't have no self-control, this is what's gonna happen. All right. You start not having control over your own spirit, and you start being emotional, and all kind of shit. So the scriptures say refrain from your appetites, man. Your appetites come in many ways. Woman, money, and other shit. You know what I mean? Other shit. That could compromise you, especially in this ministry and other crazy shit. You know what I mean? What you investing your time into. All right? Other crazy shit. Okay? Other crazy shit. You know, like they say, what you invested your time in. You know what I mean? It ain't good. What you give your energy to. You know what I mean? That could compromise you, especially in this ministry in these times. You know what I mean? So you must have self restraint. And everything starts with this mind. Because we know in this mind ain't no good thing. The war, it's always been the flesh against the spirit. All right. So you just gotta identify certain things. You know what I mean? Especially sometimes these demons. You know what I mean? You lusting after the demons. So especially if you don't have no control over them, you'll be being a serious state. A serious state. All right, because hey, you try to live after the flesh, this is gonna happen. This is Romans chapter 8. We start at verse 12. It says, "Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the flesh, mean put them to death, ye shall live. All right. For ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. All right. Now let me give you the works of the flesh. Let me give you the works of the flesh. So you live after these, you can die. This is Galatians 5:19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. Okay, let's go in deeper. Go have an understanding. All right, 5:19. Now the works of the flesh are these manifest, which are these: adultery. All right, adultery, physically, spiritually, physically. You know what I mean? A lot of adultery going on in this time. A lot of adultery. Fucking loan adultery. Fornication. Sexual intercourse. Adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism. These people ain't getting no self-restraint. Intercourse with animals, sexual intercourse with close relatives. Oh, sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman. Metaphorically, the worship of idols. Also, the scripture goes in. Uncleanness, physical or moral sense, impurity of lustful, luxurious. You see that? Lasciviousness, unbridled lust, excessive licentiousness, lasciviousness, wantonness, shamefulness. You see that? Outrageousness, unbridled lust. You see that? All these are the work of the flesh: idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in the time past, that they that which do these things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You see this? This is the works of the flesh. So if you live after these, you can die. You know what I mean? That's why you gotta mortify your members, put those shit to death. All right? You know what I mean? Because, hey, the scriptures say, man, the evil seed was implanted from Adam from the beginning. You know what I mean? Suppose, go off. You know what I mean? There's a scripture, I try to remember it. You know what I mean? Let me see if I get that scripture. I ain't gonna be too long. Willingly, not willingly. Right? Romans 8 and 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who had subjected the same in hope. The creature, us, we are made subject to vanity. All right. So, hey, you know what I mean? The evil seed was implied not from the beginning. All right. All right. The evil seed, but always go off in his flesh. Always. That's why we need those immortal bodies. We need those bodies. We need those bodies. You know, that's what we fighting for. That's immortal bodies. You know what I mean? As long as we in this flesh, we keep on going off. But hey, you gotta have self-restraint. You got to have self-restraint, and it all starts with your mind. And that's why we have these words to also uplift us and give us the guidelines of how to know how to basically apply these words. Not just reading them, apply them. You know, apply them. Because don't care how much you read these scriptures, if you want to apply in them, you make yourself a hypocrite. You start with me myself. You know what I mean? Make yourself a hypocrite. That's just what it is. This is Sirach 37:27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. All right, these unbridled lust sometimes. All right, and see what is evil for it, and give not unto it. So refrain from thine appetites. Refrain from these appetites. Put off the flesh. Okay, because you live after them, you can die. Okay, refrain for your appetites. So back in the self-restraint, it says exercise over one's own impulses, emotions, or desires, or self-control. Okay, and you want to have self-control in this time. All right, you don't want to be in a state whereby you don't have no self-control. You could be taken like that. All right, you might think you're doing the right thing, but you going off. The second Ezra 5:10, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth. And we in this time where it's multiplied by hundreds right now. All right, incontinency. Let me show you what incontinency means. The same thing. Everybody just want to please their flesh. That ain't good. All right, incontinence. It says the quality of state of being incontinent. Right. Let me show you something. All right, failure to restrain sexual appetite. All right, and other things too. It could be also other shit equated with this too. Failure to restrain from sexual appetite. But, you know, this is what incontinency means. And these are multiplied upon this earth. And we in those times now. Okay? We in those times now. You gotta refrain from those appetite. You know what I mean? Have self-restraint. Because this is what in my words, this is what the scripture's saying. So, yeah, man, we just in these times, you know what I mean? We just in these times, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we gotta identify these shit. You know what I mean? Get on top of it, you know what I mean? You know? Don't the scriptures say a just man falleth 7 times, so what he can do, he can get back up and keep on going. He ain't allow these like the wicked falling in the mischief. You know what I mean? We gonna keep on going. You ain't gonna let the flesh, you shouldn't let the flesh keep you down. You know what I mean? Keep on fighting. But have self-control, self-restraint. And it starts with your mind. You know? Starts with your mind. But, you know, that's something, you know, I thought of through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, because it starts with me myself. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I just want to give all praise glory on to Yahweh Shem Shai, B'Shem Kakadash. Shalom, Akim. Shalom.